Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me on the BioBreakthroughs podcast. I'm your host, Jared Taylor. Joining me today is the CEO at Avadel Pharmaceuticals. Greg, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well, Jared. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here and a chance to talk to you today.
You didn't know you were going to be singing on this today, did you? I'm just kidding. Someone at a recent conference, Greg, I did that joke to, and they started, and I need to stop asking out of fear that you go forward with it. Really, really
No
excited to
worries
have
on that front. No singing from me.
I love it. I'm really excited to have you here today. And I think we should just dive right in. Tell the audience about your background and then give us the general overview of the company, where things are at today. And then we'll dig in deeper to some cool announcements and some recent things that have happened.
Yeah, thanks. For me personally, I'll start with I'm incredibly blessed to have spent now 33. I'm in my 34th year in our industry. And really, it's all I've done since I finished college. I went to college at the University of Iowa. Although I left there with my bachelor's degree, I spent all of my waking free time as a member of the Iowa football team. So as an athlete in the Big Ten, it takes a lot of your downtime up for sure. But I found myself into the industry. And when I think about my career over the last 33 plus years, I really kind of break it down in kind of 3 or 4 major kind of periods of time or chapters, if you will. I spent the first kind of 17 years at really large multinational companies that today don't exist. They've been subsequently acquired. And most of my formative years were spent at Shearing Plow. And I was super blessed in the late 80s, early 90s, and through the 90s, when the industry was really growing, to be at a company who really provided unique opportunities for folks. So I had a chance to really do a lot of different things, from starting in the industry as a sales rep to running clinical research teams in oncology and hepatitis C, to moving to Europe and being responsible for countries in Europe, and not to mention corporate development, business development, corporate strategy, and whatnot. So I really cut my teeth in the industry for 17 or so years at large companies. And then as part of my first chapter, in my second chapter, I moved to smaller companies. And in that, I had the opportunity to join a smaller kind of specialty pharma company that had multiple therapeutic areas, that ultimately was a company that required a bit of a workout and a turnaround. And we had an opportunity to turn a company around and really build it from and overcome a number of challenges that the company had had. And we actually executed a transaction on that company, which then took me to my next chapter. I spent a couple of years at private equity, where I got to see the lens through the lens of the investor, and really have an opportunity to help build companies, but always with an itch to want to get back to operating. And I joined Avadel a number of years ago. I've been the CEO now for just a little bit less than 5 years, and really it's been a remarkable journey. And I would say over my 33 years, maybe the most important lesson is you can never lose sight of the patient. Everything we do is centered on the patient and how we can improve their lives and help them, have better lives and bring value to the healthcare system at large. And that's really what we do every single day here, and what we really try to do at Avadel.
Thank you so much, Greg, for that background. And is Iowa Hawkeyes?
It
Is
is.
that right?
Yeah. Yes.
I think there's like a former. I think one of the football coaches, their daughter lives in my town here. I'm pretty sure. I'm not. I know it could be. I could have gotten the Iowa State mixed up, right? I know
That's
there's
okay.
that. That's really cool that you. What position?
I was an offensive lineman who played center and guard. That's right. Many pounds and much more hair ago.
Oh, so you got to. You had a lot of food at your disposal. Is that fair to say at the time? That's
Yeah, and as a parent of 2 boys who are now in college, I got the benefit to experience that on the other side of it, watching them eat as much as well.
that's. I need to ask you this now, and we'll also take the piece that we're talking about how you worked at these big firms. And you already mentioned this a little bit, but I want to dig in because it's not every day that we get someone that was, a college athlete. What lessons did you take from football, a career in football, and big pharma, and take with you or throughout your career, and specifically at Avadel, to help drive change and I guess culture building?
It's an excellent question, and I would say that there's not many days that go by where I don't rely on some of life's lessons you learned, as part of a team, and all of the challenges that come along with balancing, your desire to want to contribute on the team and be a part of that team, and all the other, things you're doing in college. So I was blessed to have an amazing head coach by the name of Hayden Fry, who was an industry luminary in college football. But my position coach is a gentleman by the name of Kirk Ferentz, who in many ways was, next to my father, maybe the most influential male in my life. And there's a number of lessons from how you work with people from all different backgrounds, right? So you're thrust into an environment where you're all on the same team, but you all come from different areas. And how do you align around common goals, find commonality to achieve the objective? How you compete to be successful, right? As an offensive lineman, maybe the most important thing for us is we're not people who seek the limelight. It's not what we do. We're there to do our job and protect everyone else around us. And in many ways, that's kind of how I am. It's much more of a servant approach to leadership and giving to others, and knowing that I and everyone else is counting on everyone to do their job in a manner that allows us to be successful. So from the locker room to the field to the competition to the balancing of all the responsibilities, they all matter in life today, and they all translate to what we do every single day.
Thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, I had to ask you that. I wasn't planning on it,
That's
but
okay.
it was definitely something of interest. So back to Avadel. Talk me through, and I might butcher this. LUMRYZ? Did I say it
LUMRYZ.
right? What? How did you say it?
LUMRYZ.
LUMRYZ. Much better than what I said. Talk us through how LUMRYZ is transforming narcolepsy treatment.
Yeah, LUMRYZ, which is our recently FDA approved extended release formulation of sodium oxybate, is really, it provides people with narcolepsy who need to go on an oxybate therapy, which in many ways, Jared, is really the gold standard in terms of efficacy. And Avadel's mission as a company is to try to transform medicines to transform lives. And we apply our proprietary drug delivery technologies to existing molecules. And in this case, our lead program, LUMRYZ, applies our technology to an existing molecule. And to really tell you how it's transforming people with narcolepsy in the narcolepsy marketplace, you have to step back and understand the challenges that these patients suffer from. They suffer from narcolepsy. They suffer from very specific conditions of excessive daytime sleepiness, where they fall asleep at different hours of the day. They're extremely tired. They also may suffer from cataplexy, which is an involuntary loss of muscle control or muscle tone. And the gold standard today is an oxybate treatment. But as a molecule, it's a very finicky active ingredient. It has a very short half-life. It is very unstable in certain environments, and it's hard to deliver over an extended period of time. And because of that, the existing treatments require patients who suffer from narcolepsy or a sleep disorder that is characterized by disrupted nighttime sleep. It requires patients to forcibly awaken themselves in the middle of the night, to take another dose, to get them a full night worth of sleep. And within that comes, and they have to do that in a very narrow window. Otherwise, they risk potential adverse events or other consequences on either side of that window. And many companies have tried, and Avadel is very proud to be the only company to date to actually formulate an extended release version of an oxybate treatment where patients can take this therapy at bedtime. It helps induce slow wave sleep and allow them to sleep through the night. So for a condition that's hallmarked by a sleep disturbance, we are the first company to deliver really a narcolepsy treatment that helps patients both during the day and at night and doesn't disrupt their nighttime, unlike other currently available options.
And let's talk through, I guess, what is so important. Like, what drives you in in continuing to help these patients. So both you already mentioned a little bit, right? The importance of LUMRYZ. Um, I guess when you what is the significance, I guess, of this new announcement that you're sharing today?
Yeah, the significance is first and foremost, patients who have previously been on treatments such as an oxybate haven't had a lot of new options in a long time. So being able to provide a new option to people with narcolepsy who are suffering from this condition, first and foremost, I think is really, really important, right? Especially a treatment option that doesn't disrupt the nighttime for a condition that's characterized in large part by disrupted nighttime sleep, right? But for us, what drives us is the opportunity to help people with narcolepsy possibly have the opportunity to experience an uninterrupted night's sleep, not just one night, but continually night after night after night. If you think about the fact that current treatments could possibly force you to wake up or disrupt your nighttime through insomnia or other matters, and that happens every night after night after night, and for life potentially, we're able to provide a treatment that offers patients and people with narcolepsy a potential hope. And we've seen that materialize and manifest itself in patients who have gone on our therapy. I just recently, a mom contacted us who has an 18-year-old son, and 2 days before they were going off to college, her exact quote to us was, they felt like they won the lottery, being able to move her son onto LUMRYZ, because she had been waking up every night for the last 10 years to make sure her son could take their medicine so they could get the full benefit of that treatment, and wasn't sure if they were going to be able to do that when he went to college, wasn't sure he was even going to be able to go to college. So stories like that is really what drives our company, and the patient always has and always will be at the center of our strategy, and really the North Star that guides the actions we take.
In terms of bringing this innovative treatment to market, Greg, talk us through your involvement and uh, I guess the excitement around the team. I always like to focus on the excitement around the team because this is a win, right? Um, Talk me through that.
Yeah, it's really been an amazing journey. It's had its ups and downs over the last nearly 5 years. For sure, and nothing worth it is easy for sure. But I go back to the company made some major changes almost 5 years ago. We pivoted our strategy. We brought in a new team, and that team has executed incredibly well. We delivered, that team delivered an exceptional phase 3 pivotal trial with exceptional data, highly statistically significant at all co-primary endpoints, at all time periods and doses measured, and really demonstrated that you could take this molecule, sodium oxybate, once at bedtime and get the same potential therapeutic benefit that this gold standard of care offers. And then from then, you've seen us systematically go from a 25-person company to a 30-person company, and in the last 8 months, where we've added over 110 people to the company to get ready to bring LUMRYZ to the market. So the role I have played is trying to stay out of the way of the really smart people who understand, all the great things we need to do, but ensure that we have the resources and they have the opportunity to go really build something special that can truly help patients and really serve as a launching platform for Avadel itself as we evolve from a development stage company to a commercial stage company. But our people are very excited and very engaged and out every single day trying to help people with narcolepsy.
That's super exciting, Greg, and I'm so happy for you and the team. It sounds like you have a lot of work ahead of you as well. That type of growth, right? It's not just growth with people, especially, right? That's a lot of people to now manage, and you'll that's where too the sports background, right? Your team building, and that really comes into play as well, as along with your other accomplishments throughout your career. Last thing I have for you, Greg, what's next that you can share with us here today? I know you have a lot coming up. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I think the most important priorities for the company today are clearly first and foremost is the launch of LUMRYZ and serving this community and executing that launch and bringing it to the market to help people with narcolepsy. But as we go from there and think about where do we take the company from here, through the lens of how do we help more patients, we see that lens through a couple of ways. And probably the next kind of most important lens is how do we, with the innovation and the investment that we've made and have delivered in the form of LUMRYZ, are there more patient populations who could benefit from this innovation? So are there, patients who aren't we're approved for today who may benefit? And the answer to that is we believe is yes. So kind of the next steps for us beyond the launch is really to, seek approval for LUMRYZ in a pediatric population so we can go to younger ages where parents don't have to wake up potentially in the middle of the night to treat their patients should we be approved. And then following that will really be centered around other potential conditions. And one in particular, which is called idiopathic hypersomnia, which is, again, another rare sleep disorder where people suffer from really extreme hypersomnia, deep, long sleep inertia, where they struggle even waking up. And it's an opportunity potentially to help them as well. Those are things we have on the horizon for us. But first and foremost is the launch of LUMRYZ and being able to serve as many patients as we're fortunate to serve.
Well, I'm excited to stay in touch with you, Greg, and hopefully we can have you come back on in the near future.
Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity, Jared.